In the lines, in the poem Small Towns and the River by Mamang Dai wanted to talk about the state of mind she was in. Understood? Due to different kind of reasons. What are the reasons? One of the main reason was like the northeastern part of India remained neglected for a long time. It remained cut off from the mainstream society of India. And those living in the northeastern part of India always felt as if they were outsiders, even though they were Indians. And the stepmotherly attitude or treatment meted out to them was not acceptable to the poet. Understood? And this is the reason she was not in a proper state of mind. And the poem is a depiction of the picture of the state of mind, understood, she was in. Let's see what she wants to say in the first stanza of her poem, Small Towns and the River. Small towns always remind me of death. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. It's always the same in summer or winter, with the dust flying or the wind howling down the gorge. You know, small towns always remind me of death. She is talking about the small towns that grew up on the banks of different rivers in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Understood? And you know, when you see towns, towns actually represent what? Town represent a place, a place where people in the modern world live. Understood? Made by them. And in those towns, the people that live are small in size. And in those small towns, the citizens living are always experiencing problems. What are those problems? The problems that they face, one of the biggest problems is the problem of frequent deaths. The reason why the poet used the word death is one of the biggest issues. It was what was happening frequently. The reason why the poet said small towns always remind her of death is because of the fact her state is full of political turmoil, external problems, internal problems, the negligence by the central government of India, understood? And lot of innocent people are losing their lives every day, understood?
So I think when the
So,
poet is saying that I belong to a small town and it's full of death and it reminds me of death. I think here is a kind of a notion of the memory which the poetess represents to us, that yes, this is the memory which I am too insecure about and I am traumatized about, and even the splashes of blood, the bounds of death and the bundles of death, it makes me feel so insecure that where I am, and this town doesn't feel me secure, and this is the traumatizing past the poet is just trying to
yes,
give
it
to
is
us.
because of our insecurity. The line makes us feel She is singing the pain or agony
Yes.
of her situation, of the situation she is in. Understood? She is not happy. It is the only reason is these small towns that people live in are have turned into house of deaths. Understood? The small towns that people live in the northeastern states have turned into houses of deaths. Understood? And she is feeling insecure,
Yes.
and it is a song of insecurity.
Insecurity. That where I'm standing right now, it is the question mark to her that yes, if I am not secure in my own state, in my own town, then where I can be secure or where I can feel secure.
Yeah.
This is the question she raises, and at the same time she says this is the mound of death I'm standing right now.
Yeah.
So basically that my identity is being questioned.
Yeah.
So in my own state, in my own country, where my identity as a northeastern is being questioned firstly by the mainstream society, and at the same time when my own state turned into the mound of death, my life identity is being questioned on a very double, in a very double notion. So this doubly questioned identity, where the poet is being traumatized and hustling and bustling.
Now, what she's trying to say, if I don't save, if I'm not, if I don't feel safe in my own country, then where can I be safe?
Yes.
Where can I feel safe?
Yes, this is what.
And it is her question that she is fighting, understood, for security. Do you get it?
Yes.
This is the question she has presented through this first line, that small towns always remind me of death. Actually, I have already explained the small towns in the northeastern states of India remind the poet of deaths. It means the northeastern small states, understood, no more northeastern states, small states of India have turned into the houses of death due to the problems they were facing every day, and they are not happy. Understood? People living in the small towns of northeastern India are not happy due to the frequent deaths that are happening every
Due to
day.
wars,
Every day.
massacres.
Due to several problems the states are
So
facing.
basically, this is the line which
The states are
raises the
facing.
question about her doubly imposed identity crisis.
Yes. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. She says that her hometown lies calmly. It means the place where her hometown is situated is a calm and quiet place, in the surrounded by trees, in the middle of trees. Understood? Her hometown. And what we have come to know about her place of birth is Pashinagar. Understood?
Pashina.
Understood? This is a calm and quiet place according to her, and it is surrounded by green trees. And this is the reason she is proud of having a quiet, calm and quiet place as her hometown. It is always the same wherever they live. Even when she's saying it is always the same. My hometown lies calmly amid the trees. It is always the same. What? The problem of infiltration. what problem of terrorists, problems of the deaths of the innocents, understood, and different the clashes, understood, the fighting going on between different tribal groups, clear, different terrorist organizations that operate from northeastern states. These are different issues that have made her life hell. These are the issues, burning issues of northeastern states. Some northeastern states that have made the lives of the people living there hell. And the poet has fallen victim to it. Understood? And this is the reason she says, it's always my hometown, though her hometown lies calmly amid the trees, in the middle of trees. Understood? It is always the same. The problem is always the same everywhere. Be it a calm town, calm and quiet town, be it a very, whatever place it is, be it calm, be it noisy, whatever kind of town it is full of turmoil. It is full of problems. The problem is same. All, each and every part of northeastern East India is experiencing similar problem. Understood? It is always the same in summer or winter. Be it summer or be it winter. Be it summer or winter. The problem is same. And be it a quiet place or a noisy one. Everywhere the problem is same. Everybody is unhappy. Everybody is experiencing problem. Everybody is not happy. Do you get it what I'm saying? Sorry. With the dust flying, she was a environmentalist. We have come to know that she was a understood. We have come to know that she was an environmentalist, and she was aware of the fact that we, after our death, what do we turn into? We turn into dust. Understood? And what is this dust composed of? Dust, the human body, if this decomposes, it actually, in the first phase, it turns into what? A poisonous thing. When the body starts to rot, what does it? Doesn't it give a bad odor?
Yes, it basically stinks, and at the same time, I think what you were saying that it gives a bad odor. It needs a cremation of
Yeah,
automation.
yeah.
Like,
Do you get it? It is in need of cremation.
cremation.
It needs to be cremated. But what is happening there is the negligence. The deaths due to negligence, understood, is contributing to the dead bodies that have turned into the dead bodies that causes what? That contributes to pollution. What kind of pollution? Pollution will be the cause of our deaths sooner or later. They are the bodies that cause pollution. And what do the pollutions do? It actually, pollutions are something that we fall victim to. When something gets polluted, we suffer from it. Be it ground pollution, water pollution, air pollution, or ground pollution. When ground pollution happens, the ground that we walk on is polluted. We get affected by it. If the air is polluted, if we breathe in the impure air, we fall victim to it. It shortens the duration of our life. If the water that we drink is polluted, it will shorten the duration of life. It is not fit. The poet talks about the unfit situation, unhealthy situation prevailing in the northeastern parts of India. Understood? So, what is happening with the dust flying? Do you get me what I'm saying? Have I made it very clear to you? Or the wind howling. Howling means howl. Wind does howl. A kind of animal howls. It is a
Jackal or
jackal. And this sound is stiffer, louder than other animals.
yes.
So a wind can howl. Here, what is the wind? The troubles, turmoils, the bad situation is worsening day by day. It's howling
I
down the gorge. Gorge means, a small valley between two hills.
yes.
What are actually this line? What the line is trying to talk about is the situation had turned into a wind howling down the gorge. Right or not?
Yes, I think we can consider this word howling the very similar to the sense of the metaphor of the sound metaphor. We can consider it as a
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
metaphor, and at the same time we can interpret it in a two kind of way or in a various kind of way. But according to the context, I want to say that as it was a very massacred situation and the situation was not so well, and there was a lax of death, and the death was the immense, and the possibilities of humans like are shortening day by day. So basically, the howling of the jackal, it wasn't real. That they were in search of the smell of the odor, the stinks of the dead bodies, and even that howling was impossible can be in a very literal way, but at the same time it can be presented in a very metaphorical way, that the air is howling means that everything it turned into a very
The situation in Northeast is
a very
going from bad to worse.
yes, the situation is the air signifies the situation, that the futility of the war, the futility of the massacre, that the howling, it doesn't signify something very venerated, very venerated is going to happen, but something which is very sinful, which is very
Not healthy at all.
not healthy at all, is
It's a
happening
lull of a very bad time.
yes, it's happening throughout the state. So basically, it can be considered in a both way, in a literal and metaphorical sense.
So it's very clear to you the first stanza is over.
Yes.
Now let's move on to the second stanza. Just the other day, the poet talks about an incident. Understood? During a recent period. The poet talks about a recent event. Understood? Just the other day. Just the other day. Only that day. The day before yesterday. Understood? A few days ago. Few days before. Understood? Just the other day, a day during a recent period, someone died.
Very arbitrary anonymous
Understood?
person.
Do you get it?
Yes.
Just the other day, someone died. In the dreadful silence, we wept. In the dreadful silence, we wept. Looking at a sad rug of tube roses. Life and death, life and death. Only the rituals are permanent. Just the other day, someone died. In the dreadful silence, we wept. It means even the silence that prevails in the northeastern states during her time was dreadful. And the people grieving or mourning at the death of someone, understood? Or the people weeping at the death of the person who had lost her life, who has lost her life or his life, looking at the sad wrath of tube roses. Understood? Here, Rad means garlands. Understood? Life and death, only the rituals are permanent. Here, Rad stands for, you can call it transferred epithet. The person offering these garlands made of tuberoses, understood, are sad. This is transferred epithet, and as a result, the persons offering these garlands are sad. Life and death, this is the repetition. Only the rituals are permanent. When you say only the rituals are permanent, here the poet means to say that the man needs to continue what? Their existence through rituals. Rituals are only things that they are left. It is the rituals that connect the present generation to the next generations. Understood? They have nothing left except the rituals. And the rituals actually connect the present generation to the next generation. Is that clear?
Yes, I think um, you are absolutely right. But I think there is another kind of sense which reflected through the rituals are permanent. This line that everything what was happening, it was a very soulless, it was a very uncertain, but at the same time, it turned into a ritual. So basically, when we usually habituate with the ritual, there is nothing in it. The ritual reflects the orthodox of a religion, the orthodox of a particular communal affection. So basically, when we talks about the ritual doesn't make a progress within the society or within a specific community. But at the same time, when the ritual is in progress, it means it goes through hand in hand through one generation to other generation. What you already said, but at the same time, this is the ritual of the death of the immensity of the death. So the immensity of the death, when it turned into the ritual, the life became the question and the life turned into a hell. It is a very pathetic to say that the rituals or the rituals of death turn into a very monotony for the people of the Arunachal Pradesh. That this ritual turned their life very monotonous in a way that they became a very day-to-day experience in their own livelihood. So basically, the livelihood is the experiences of death, and when the livelihood turned into that kind of notion, the urges to live for the people became so smaller, and the possibilities turned into holocaust at the end of the day. So this is
That's
what happens.
absolutely correct. At the same time, whatever I say, I just explain what the lines are all about.
Yes, yes, I understand.
Understood? And with the meanings inside them. The river has a soul. Now, the poet has changed dimensions. What are these? The river has a soul. We have talked about the small towns.
Yes.
And now it is the turn of the poet to talk about what is river and whether the river has a soul or not, whether the river is alive or not. The river has a soul. In the summer, it carts through the land like a torrent of grape. Sometimes, I think it holds its breath, seeking a land of fish and stars. The river has a soul. The river is holding its breath in the hope of reunion with the sea. That is the land of fish and stars. River, like an explorer, continuously changes. What? What does it change? Its course. Understood? While every droplet it carries witnesses external existence. Right or not?
Yes.
So, river with the lives inside. What? Different creatures, marine life. We human bodies with the living organs inside. Understood? Feel alive. So the rivers with those living things inside, like the fish, and with the stars twinkling over it, makes it what? Complete. Understood? So, what the poet is saying, the river has a soul, and how? Why does it have a soul? It has soul because in summer it cuts through the land. The river goes through the land. How does it go? Like a torrent of grief, like downpour of grief. As it is a river in the hilly areas, so this is ever flowing river. Do you know? Ever flowing. So it cuts through the what? Through the land. Why? How does it cut through the land? Like a torrent of grief. Even the rivers in the northeastern states of India, they go through the land, they pass through the land, they cut through the land. Understood? How does it cut? Like a torrent, like a downpour of grief. Sometimes and sometimes, sometimes and sometimes. Here, what the poet, through repetitions, wants to say, it seems to her sometimes. Understood? It seems to her as if what? The river is holding. The river is holding its breath. Why? In the hope of a reunion. In the hope of a reunion with the sea. That is the land of fish and stars. Here, what the poet means to say, it seems as if, according to the poet, the river is alive, it has a soul. But according to her, even the river has become a river of sorrow. Understood? Though it cuts through the land. Understood? Why is it cutting through the land? Because it has a soul. But though it cuts through the land, it seems to the poet as if it is holding its breath in the hope of reunion with the sea. We know ultimately it meets the sea. Why? To find herself in union with the sea. What is the sea? The land of stars and fish. Understood? So, the river is alive, living with the stars twinkling over it and the fish playing in it. These are the things that make the rivers alive. But that is not at present in the state of, understood, in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So these are what makes us feel very, very sad. Do you get me what I'm saying? The poet sees river like it is infused with life. It represents nature and consciousness. The expression cuts through means wounding and hurting. When it cuts through the land, it brings in life and vitality. Right or not? So, the river has a soul. Again, the poet is saying, the river has a soul. And do you think, sometimes it seems, when I was reading the poem, it seemed as if the poem is a lyric.
Yes, the poem is a lyric. I would like to say that it is to justify that the poet personified the river as a very soulful creature or a very soulful
Yes.
origin. But at the same time, I think it is a very minute description that the poet inherited through the line that the river is not that much happy what it was before, that the river itself just want to meet with the place where the human doesn't exist, where the subhuman creatures emerges. So the starfish, the fishes underwater, the marine creatures, they are the subhuman creatures. So basically, when the river as a soulful creature just to meet them, to unite with them, it reflects that the river is not that much happy what it was before in the land of the Arunachal, in the land of the gods. But at the same time, I think the agony, the torrent of grief, it comes out when it crosses the lands of the Arunachal. So it creates the remark that yes, that the wound what I give to this land, it cannot be wiped away from this land. But at the same time, what the people of the Arunachal give or made her to experience through their brutal words or through their terrible thinkings and their terrible massacred situations, the nature doesn't want to still exist in their land. We knew that Arunachal as a Dev Bhumi, the Kashmir as a Dev Bhumi, these places are
Holy land.
were considered as the holy land, the land of the gods, the paradise-like place. But the river, where the river, like the in Bible, what we got that in the Gospel of the John, that the river in the paradise, it just wiped away or it just vanishes because of some sins what was committed by the gods and goddesses, and the river vanished for a moment, and it was just like a punishable offense to the river, that yes, if you people do sin like fight among each other or do some massacres among each other, or doesn't value the human existence of each other, I will not be there for you people. And even though the river is also stands for life, the river what it contains the water, it actually the sources of the every vegetation, the plantation of the planet. So
Water is
basically,
is a source of life on earth.
yes, so basically what the river is, and the river, how it feels terrible in the land of the Arunachal, it signifies that the subhuman existence is far better to the river than the brutality of the humans. So this is.
Thank you. Now, another stanza I'm going to start. The river has a soul. It knows stretching past the town from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist on the mountain tops. The river knows the immortality of water. You see, as maturity takes hold, the burden of mortality is carried. Innocent joy surrenders to anxiety. Right? So here you see the river has a soul. Why? Because it knows stretching past the town. Understood? From the first drop of rain to dry earth. From the first drop of rain, what is happening? The water, the clouds that condenses, that come back to the earth as raindrops. Understood? Why? To wet the dry earth. And the mist on the mountains, that is also source of water.
Yes.
The river knows the immortality of water. What does it talk about? It talks about life cycle.
The whole water cycle, life cycle.
Understood? The whole water cycle.
Yes, when I say that the water is one of the resources of the existence of the human, existence
Yes.
of the every vegetation, every plantation of the
Yeah.
earth. So,
So it's river. That is, the river with water in it is the source of life. Is the source of immortality.
yes. that something which is very antithetic to each other, the situation what the whole Arunachal Pradesh was facing, the massive rapes, the hurt and burn, the topsy-turvy, the massacres of the Holocaust, all these things were not made for the nature and the nature were not prepared for it. Because according to the romantics, the nature believes in sublimity. The nature where the river flows from the path or the sun shines from those sky, this whole sky, it believes in sublimity. The mountain, we cannot cross a mountain without any kind of precaution, and even all mountains are not crossable.
Now I must not stress upon these lines. I think the poet is
Yes,
talking
so
about
what I was
the water
saying,
cycle,
yes,
and the what there I must not say the water dries up
no,
and
no, no,
then
no, I
goes.
will not say. I will not say this kind of thing. I was
Okay,
saying that what romantics were
I
thinking,
have
they
already
were
said.
so huge, they were so sublime in their own thought that the nature needs a sublime context to remain their existence. So basically, here the nature is always also became very antithetical and very a topic of negligence, a subject of negligence to the people or the human of the Arunachal Pradesh. So how a nature without this kind of negligence, without the sublime existence, can exist within a state like Arunachal? So this was
Now the next stanza. A shrine of happy picture marks the days of childhood. Small towns grow with anxiety for the future. The dead are placed pointing west. When the soul rises, it will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. Now, what the poet means to say here is a shrine of happy picture. A shrine of happy pictures marks the days of childhood. What the poet means to say here is that the childhood has a purity like that of a shrine or temple. It means a person is pure when he or she is a child. A childhood is as pure as a temple. Because when we are children, we do not speak what? We do not tell a lie. Because their state of mind is like that of God. So, the childhood is as holy as a temple. This is the reason the poet is saying a shrine of happy picture marks the days of childhood. Small towns grow with anxiety for the future. As maturity takes hold, the burden of mortality is carried. As maturity takes hold,
yes.
burden of mortality is
I think it
carried.
was Abraham Lincoln who said that what the present is facing right now, the future will incarnate it again like a holy shrine. But when it will collapse, the every future will face a massive trend in a very near future. So this is what the state of Arunachal even facing right now. That the segregation right now still exists. The massacres, the very kind of the identity politics happens. So I think Mamang is quite true on her own point.
Yes, you are right. So, the perennial rituals and traditions are threatened by modernization and changes in culture dynamics. Right? So, small towns grow with anxiety. What are the reasons for the future? What are the reasons behind small towns growing with anxiety for the future? What are the reasons for the small towns growing with anxiety for the future? What are the reasons? Perennial perennial rituals, age old, understood.
Yes, yes.
Rituals and traditions are threatened by the modernization and changes in the culture dynamics. Right or not? So, as maturity takes hold, burden of mortality is carried. Innocent joy surrenders to anxiety. In keen anticipation of renewal, man turned to rituals. Right? The dead are placed pointing west. When the soul rises, it will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. The tribal people, the tribals, place the dead bodies with their heads pointing westwards, so that when their souls rise, they will go towards heaven. Right? We can only this is the picture we get. The dead are placed pointing west. When the soul rises, it will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. You know, here west stands for death and east stands for birth. Right or not? So not only tribals, I think other peoples as well. People in small towns know that their situation will not change, or they will not see change in this life. So they hope for a renewal through rituals, through deaths. Do you get it?
Yes, I think.
They hope for a change
Yes,
through
I think the
deaths.
whole notion is talking about the blame game, that what the Northeast or Indian as a whole, whole third world country, or not I would say third world country, the underdeveloping country, or country which is even been captured for a long time by the Britishers or the Western East India Company. So basically, the West, they were even being trying to segregate these people for a long time. That how can they emerge, or how can they amalgamate with those people amicably when they were even being segregated, or even being not been a part of the long time for this whole state, whole country.
I want to talk about the bottom line.
Yes.
The bottom line, the people in small towns know, in Arunachal Pradesh, know that their situation will not change in this life. So they have hope for a renewal through deaths, the frequent deaths that take place. Right or not? The last but not the least, I think this is the last line, no?
Yes. Truly,
Last stanza.
yes.
In the cool bamboo, restored in sunlight, life matters like this. In small towns, by the river, we all want to walk with the gods. After departing from earthly life, the soul discovers a profound existence linked with the divine. Right or not? After departing from earthly life, soul discovers a profound existence linked with the divine. Here, bamboo means body, sunlight means soul. In the cold bamboo, what is restored? Restored in sunlight. Cool bamboo, dead body. Where is it restored? It is restored in sunlight. Why? Light matters like this. And in small towns by the river, we all want to walk with the gods. Have I made the meaning clear? The Adi tribe, just like I think William Wordsworth, like this fellow, Mamang, believed in the world of nature,
Yes.
alive with the spirits. Thus, they worshipped mountains, rivers, and the trees. Mamanda herself confessed that for her, nature is a living presence with which one can connect and empathize. And in the line from the poem, what poem? Her poem, which what was the name of the poem you have in the syllabus?
Versus poem.
No, Mamang Dais, another poem,
I think the Mamang is the voice of
Voice of the Mountain.
Voice
This
of-
line, look at the line from the Voice of the Mountain. In the end, the universe yields nothing except a dream of permanence. Peace is a falsity, a moment of rest, comes after long combat. So, what can you get out of these lines? In the cool bamboo, restored in sunlight, light matters like this. In small towns by the river, we all want to walk with gods. You can only dream to become permanent. In the cycle of life. But since human beings are mortal beings, we do not know if that participation is possible. Right or not? When we say we want to walk with God, we refer to the divine figure. What is that divine figure? Nature. By participating in the cycle of life and believing after death, you can become a part of nature. Here she mixes the present mortality with the hope of immortality. So, I think it is very clear to you. Is there anything left to be understood? If you have anything to say, you can say. You feel free to say.
I think it's included in the post-colonial literature
Hmm.
that I just enlighten a point that the truth and the exotic and the not to be the truth. These are the terms I just want to explain through the poem.
Hmm.
That at the